Late one evening, after finishing a quiet drive, Keanu Reeves notices something unusual in a supermarket parking lot. An old, worn-out car sits in the corner, its windows fogged from the cool night air. Inside, he sees a young mother cradling her baby, wrapped in a thin blanket. Their belongings are packed into bags scattered across the back seat, a silent sign that this car is more than just transportation. It's their only home. Keanu watches for a moment, realizing the mother is trying to rock her baby to sleep despite her own exhaustion. The scene strikes him deeply, reminding him of his own battles with loneliness and pain. Instead of walking away, he quietly approaches, unsure how to start, but knowing he cannot leave them there without help. The mother looks up, startled, clutching her child tightly. What she doesn't know yet is that this meeting is about to change her life forever. Would you like me to continue with part 2 where Keanu begins to talk to her and offer help, making it even more emotional and cinematic? As Keanu takes a step closer, the fading orange sunlight paints long shadows across the parking lot. The young mother shifts nervously, clutching her child even tighter, her eyes carrying both fear and exhaustion. She had learned not to trust strangers. Too many times the world had failed her, but something about this man's presence was different. Keanu lowers his voice, gentle and steady. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I just noticed you've been here for a while." He glances at the car, then back at her. "Are you and your baby okay?" Tears well in her eyes, though she tries to hold them back. "We're fine," she says quickly, her voice trembling. But the lie is thin, breaking under the weight of reality. Her lips quiver as she admits softly, "We don't have anywhere else to go." The baby stirs, letting out a small cry, and Keanu's heart clenches. For a moment, memories of his own painful losses wash over him. He kneels slightly, trying not to tower over her, and with quiet sincerity says, "No one should have to live like this. Especially not you and your child." The mother studies him closely now, searching his face. There's no judgment in his eyes, only a kind of compassion she hasn't seen in years. She whispers, almost ashamed, "We've been in this car for weeks. I've been trying, but everything fell apart." Keanu feels the weight of her words. He glances around. Rows of empty shopping carts, cars coming and going. People passing by without noticing, without caring. But he can't ignore it. "Not now, not ever." "I want to help," he says firmly, almost surprising himself with the certainty in his voice. "Whatever it takes, food, a safe place, even just someone to talk to. Let me do something." The woman hesitates, caught between desperation and the instinct to protect her child. But there's something undeniable about him. She finally nods, tears slipping down her cheeks. The safe house is quiet, nestled on a side street far from the chaos of the city. When Keanu opens the door, warm light spills across the floor. Inside, a small kitchen hums with the smell of freshly baked bread, and the faint sound of a radio playing old jazz drifts through the air. The young mother steps in cautiously, holding her baby close. She hasn't walked into a place this welcoming in years. Her eyes dart across the room, the clean sheets folded on the couch, the neatly arranged pantry, the crib in the corner as if someone had already prepared for them. She doesn't know how to process it. Keanu notices her hesitation and offers a soft smile. "It's yours tonight. No questions, no judgment. Just rest." She lowers herself onto the couch, her arms tightening around her child. For the first time, she feels her body giving in to exhaustion, her defenses cracking. "Why me?" she asks suddenly, her voice raw. "There are so many people out there. Why stop for me?" Keanu pulls up a chair across from her. His expression is thoughtful, almost haunted. "Because I know what it's like to lose everything. I know what it feels like to be alone in the dark, hoping someone will notice. Tonight, I couldn't walk away." Her eyes glisten, not just with tears but with recognition. She understands that his kindness comes from a place of pain. The baby coos softly, reaching a tiny hand toward Keanu. He instinctively leans forward, letting the child grab his finger. For a brief moment, the world outside disappears. In that quiet room, there is no fame, no struggle, no past regrets. There is only a tired mother, a fragile baby, and a man who has decided that their survival matters. The mother exhales deeply. "I used to believe life could change," she whispers, "but then everything went wrong. I lost my job, my apartment, my family support. Every day has been about surviving one more night." Her voice trembles, but she continues. "I didn't think anyone would ever see us again. I thought we'd just disappear." Keanu's gaze hardens with quiet determination. "You're not disappearing. Not while I'm here. You and your baby deserve a future, and I'll help you find it." For the first time, hope flickers in her eyes. It's small, fragile, but it's there. That night, as the mother and child sleep peacefully in real beds, Keanu stands by the window, staring out at the city lights. He knows this is more than a one-night gesture. He has stepped into their story, and walking away is no longer an option. Somewhere deep inside, he realizes this isn't just about saving them. It might also be about saving himself. The morning sunlight filters through the blinds, casting golden lines across the small room. For the first time in weeks, the young mother wakes not to the sound of car doors slamming or the bitter chill of a parking lot, but to the gentle warmth of a safe home. Her baby sleeps peacefully beside her in the crib, his tiny chest rising and falling in rhythm. She takes a moment to simply breathe. For once, she doesn't have to rush, doesn't have to figure out where to park or how to stretch the last few dollars for food. She almost forgets what it feels like to not be in survival mode. In the kitchen, Keanu is already awake, quietly preparing breakfast, eggs, toast, and a pot of coffee. He moves with a practiced calm, but his mind is anything but still. He's been replaying the night before, the look in her eyes when she admitted she thought no one would ever see her again. It haunts him, and it drives him. When she enters, carrying her baby, she's shy, almost embarrassed. "You didn't have to do all this," she murmurs, setting the baby down gently in a chair nearby. Keanu smiles faintly, pouring her a cup of coffee. "Maybe not. But sometimes the things we don't have to do are the ones that matter most." They sit across from each other at the small table, the silence filled with unspoken questions. She finally breaks it. "I don't even know your name." He chuckles softly, almost relieved. "Keanu," he says simply. Her eyes widen. She knows that name, of course. She's seen him on screens, heard the stories of Hollywood fame and tragedy. But in this moment, he isn't a star. He's just a man who brought them in from the cold. I don't understand," she whispers. "Why would someone like you stop for someone like me?" His expression turns serious, his voice low. "Because the world doesn't stop often enough for people who need it most. I know what it feels like to be invisible when you're hurting. I promised myself, if I ever saw someone in that place, I wouldn't walk away." Tears threaten her eyes, but she blinks them back, nodding silently. Over the next few days, Keanu doesn't just provide food and shelter. He helps her make calls, connects her with people who can assist. Social workers, a shelter program, even a friend who runs a small diner looking for extra hands. Slowly, she begins to believe that maybe, just maybe, life isn't over. But as news spreads, a photo leaked of Keanu Reeves walking into a shelter with a young mother and her baby, the media begins circling like vultures. Headlines explode. Keanu Reeves rescues homeless mother and child. Some praise him, others question his motives. Reporters swarm the quiet street, their cameras flashing, their voices shouting. Inside the safe house, the mother panics. I can't do this. I don't want my baby's face plastered everywhere. I don't want people judging me, pitying me. Keanu's jaw tightens. He knows the world can be cruel, and this was the last thing he wanted for her. He kneels beside her, his voice steady but urgent. Listen to me. You're not a headline. You're a person. And I'll protect your privacy, no matter what it takes. I promise. But in his heart, he knows the fight is just beginning. The act of kindness that began in a parking lot has now become a story the world refuses to ignore. And with it comes a challenge neither of them could have predicted, protecting not just survival, but dignity, trust, and the fragile hope they've started to build together. By the third day, the quiet little refuge no longer feels hidden. Vans line the street. Photographers camp outside, waiting for a glimpse. Every time the mother peeks through the curtains, she sees flashing cameras and hears voices calling out Keanu's name. Her chest tightens with panic. I can't live like this, she whispers, clutching her baby. This was supposed to be safe. Now everyone knows. Keanu's heart aches at the fear in her voice. He knows fame is a cage he's learned to live with, but she never asked for it, and her baby doesn't deserve it. That evening, Keanu makes a decision. He calls a trusted friend, someone who has no interest in Hollywood but runs a private retreat far from the city. I need a place, Keanu says. Quiet, secure. For a mother and her child. Within hours, he arranges their escape. Before dawn, he helps her gather her few belongings. They slip out through a back exit, avoiding the crowd, and drive north into the mountains. As the city lights fade in the rearview mirror, the mother exhales for the first time in days. She glances at Keanu, her eyes shimmering. Why are you doing all this? You could have walked away after that first night. He keeps his eyes on the road, his voice steady but soft. Because walking away would have haunted me more than staying ever could. The retreat is a small cabin surrounded by towering pines, a river nearby whispering over stones. It's not glamorous, but it's peaceful. The kind of peace both of them have been searching for. Over the next days, the mother begins to open up in ways she never has. She tells him about the job she lost when her company closed, the landlord who locked her out when she couldn't keep up with rent, the family who turned their backs when she had nowhere else to go. She speaks of nights spent praying her baby would sleep despite the cold, of mornings when she pretended to be strong even as her hope crumbled. Keanu listens, really listens, never interrupting, never judging. His silence isn't empty. It's full of understanding. When she finishes, tears rolling down her cheeks, he says quietly, "You've carried the weight of the world alone. You don't have to anymore." One evening, they sit outside by the fire, the baby asleep in a crib beside them. The flames flicker in the dark, casting soft light on their faces. The mother looks at him with gratitude so deep it scares her. "I don't know how to thank you," she says. "You've already given us more than I ever thought possible." Keanu shakes his head gently. "I didn't give you anything you didn't deserve. You're the one who's been fighting every single day. I just showed up." That night, as the stars blanket the sky, Keanu makes a silent vow. He will not let the world turn their story into gossip. He will turn it into something greater, something that could change lives. Weeks later, the storm of media attention still lingers, but it has shifted. The gossip has faded, replaced by a question echoing across news outlets and social media. Why did Keanu Reeves help a homeless mother and her child? He arranges a press conference in a modest community center, not a glamorous hotel ballroom. The mother doesn't appear. He insists on protecting her privacy. Instead, he stands before a sea of cameras, dressed simply, no bodyguards, no Hollywood spectacle. Just Keanu. The room falls silent as he begins. "I didn't stop because I'm a celebrity. I didn't stop because I wanted a headline. I stopped because I saw a mother holding her baby in the cold, living in a car. I saw someone invisible to the world, but not invisible to me. And I couldn't walk away. There are thousands of mothers, fathers, and children sleeping in cars tonight. People who've lost jobs, homes, families. People who are fighting every single day just to survive. They don't need pity. They need compassion. They need a chance. He pauses, his voice steady but filled with emotion. If my story with this family does anything, I hope it reminds us all. Kindness is not charity. It's humanity. The world listens. The clip spreads globally within hours, igniting conversations about homelessness, dignity, and compassion. Donations flood into shelters, community programs, and outreach organizations. Quietly, lives begin to change because one man refused to ignore suffering. Meanwhile, back at the cabin, the mother watches the speech from an old television. She holds her baby close, tears streaming down her face, not out of fear this time, but out of hope. She realizes her story, once buried in silence, has become a spark for change. In the weeks that follow, she finds steady work at the diner Keanu connected her to. With each paycheck, she feels her independence returning. The baby grows stronger, healthier, happier. The car that once served as their only home is now just a memory parked outside. No longer a prison, but a symbol of how far they've come. One evening, Keanu visits quietly. There are no cameras, no crowds, just him, her, and the baby playing on the floor. She thanks him again, but he shakes his head with a gentle smile. "Don't thank me," he says. "You did the hardest part. You kept going." As the sun sets outside, casting a golden glow through the window, the mother finally feels it. Not just safety, but freedom. For the first time in a long time, the future doesn't scare her. It feels wide open. And for Keanu, walking out into the cool night air, there's a quiet peace in his heart. He knows this was never about fame or attention. It was about humanity, because sometimes the smallest act of kindness doesn't just save a life, it changes the world.